Hello and welcome back to the Honeywagon. I am your host, Walker Lott. I am here with Zach Flowers. This is episode three, technically, of the Honeywagon.
Three.
And we're here to talk about episode four of House of the Dragon of season three. Um, Interesting one. It's an interesting one because I think for the first three were kind of bangers, right? Banger, banger, banger. And they were dramatic, a lot of heights. Even last episode was more it was more fun because it was more like just in the mind of a king or a queen and just seeing how they have to deal with everything. And like I think I've texted you, it's like there's no way that Aegon was dealing with all this stuff a queen of as king and as Rhaenyra has, but like still a really good episode and one of probably the best we've had in a while. Where this one kind of maybe not a little slowed down, I guess, a little bit. Um, and is kind of more fun and just intriguing and setting up a lot of stuff for, the last half of the season. Firstly, I guess, Zach, how are you? What have you been watching? You've been watching, I guess, a lot of soccer, enjoying your summer, and then kind of overall thoughts on episode four of House of the Dragon.
Yeah, I mean it's I think we're starting to crack the code. We've shortened the distance between episodes so far. Uh it was like months between the first and second, and now it's like a couple weeks in
Right.
between two and three. But yeah, I've been hanging out. Obviously had some time with family for Fourth of July. And then once I've been back, X-Men 97's been out. Been
Mm,
really enjoying season
yes.
two of that, and that kind of got me back on my. I always every time I encounter something X-Men, I remember, oh yeah, this is like my favorite Marvel thing. Like I don't, Spider-Man's cool, I remember like MCU stuff is cool, but like you get down deep with it, it's like X-Men is just like they're the most interesting, they're the most like versatile, and just being able to see that. So I started watching a couple movies. I watched the first two of the prequel-ish ones where, we got First Class and then Days of Future Past, which just that movie is just amazing.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. But yeah, just really excited about the things coming forward for the House of the Dragon because Ormond's up to some business.
Yeah.
Ormond, who is not Darren, who I thought he was Darren last time. Definitely not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely not. But I am not the only one who confused Darren for another individual.
Right. That's true. You're not the only one. You weren't
One of the
hoodwinked.
many things me and Rhaenyra Targaryen have in common.
Absolutely. One of many. Yeah, X-Men Act 97 has been awesome. Quickly on that, like I think it's awesome. Like you said, like when it's at its peak, there's not much things better than X-Men content like at that level, especially for us, like we grew up kind of on the 90s X-Men when we were
Hmm.
kids. So like it's still so good and like I think I have this thing of like because I have kind of favored DC in my lifetime because DC animation grew me up as a kid, right?
Yeah.
And I think after X-Men 97, I always think now is like superheroes and comic books in general should always be the standard for animation. Like that should be the best way to do that type of content because some things you just can't do live action. If you can do it in live action, cool, right? But
Hmm.
some like I think comic book stuff in general is always going to be the pinnacle of it. It will be an animation. And
Yeah.
so stuff like X-Men 97, where you just see some of these guys use their powers to the just coolest level, like you saw Magneto this past episode just do wonders, right? And so it's yeah, RIP my boy. Um, it's incredible stuff. Speaking of that, speaking of superhero stuff, just finished Smallville finally.
Finished. That's awesome.
10 seasons I finished today. And in
All
what
of them
not
today is crazy. You sped it up.
yeah, ten seasons all in one day.
All on
Um,
10x.
and somehow Tom Welling never wore the tights and cape the entire 10 seasons, which is a credit
They
to him.
they
But
had a rule, right? It was like no capes, no something
yeah,
else.
yeah, in the final episode, you finally see him in the outfit, and it's just like they cut the like where it's just like neck up. Like it's like he will never do it, which is
That's
respect.
funny.
But
I feel like at that point they probably could have, and they were just committed to the like initial like thesis
right.
of that. It's like I'm sure you watched Gotham. But
Mm,
Gotham. I feel like if Gotham would have done more of the Smallville route when they get to the end, maybe it would have not looked as cheap.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I still
Um,
have a lot of love for that show. That was a fun one.
I don't think I ever finished it, but I did enjoy like I think I probably watched the first three, four seasons of it or whatever, and I
Hmm.
that show's awesome.
I
Um,
think I told you before.
mm,
Uh, I was comparing Daredevil, the new season of Daredevil, like
okay.
this new Born Again version, and I was like,
Yes.
this version is like Gotham, and the original Daredevil is like the actual Dark Knight trilogy, where it's like, okay, like this is we're taking it seriously, super well written, and not that the new one isn't taking it seriously because it is, but it's being very heightened, very comic booky, and very silly in a like straight way, you know? Like
Right.
because I just remember some of my favorite things from Gotham were like why are every single Batman rogues going up to no good and Batman is 15 and he's not Batman yet. But also that's why I liked it because it was just like, yeah, this does that was one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, you don't have to fit the same story structure of every single comic book movie or show or anything. Like you can make changes to this even if they don't make sense. And if you do it in an entertaining way or a well-written way, maybe it was sometimes, maybe it wasn't, but like if you do it in an interesting way, and it sure was for me and my dad,
Yeah.
then it's really entertaining. It's one of those things where I'm like happy that that thing exists.
Right. Yeah. It was cool watching the last couple seasons of Smallville because they kind of did similar things of like they would bring in superheroes from the comics and have him basically be a plot point that they needed and then come in and just like like they did the Justice Society, right? And did it for a couple episodes and had him part of stuff. It was just very cool how they did certain things back then. And like I think like one of the last episodes of season 10 is like they brought Booster Gold in for an episode and also brought in Blue Beetle just for the plot point of making him realize like, hey, you can be called Superman. Like that was the only point they were basically there. But yeah, anyways, we're here to talk House of the Dragon.
Wait,
Um,
last question.
yes,
Sorry,
yeah,
finish
go.
Smallville.
Yeah,
A lot of people have big opinions on this. So I think I would assume that after this, you've officially seen every single Lex Luthor.
yes.
Who is the best?
Well, I think Clancy Brown as Lex Luthor is definitely the best. Like it's not even
Yeah,
close.
it's a
But
classic.
as not a non-voice actor role, I think he's the best. Michael Rosenbaum is the best Lex in live action. Um, I just think like in those first couple seasons, he was really good. I think they dragged his character on a little too much at times as
Mm.
we went on, where like I would say I think like season one through season four or five are great. And then like five through like seven-ish, when they're right out of college or like getting out of college and or getting sorry in college like those first couple years out of high school it's just they had to like keep guys at Smallville and like but also like try to go grow the story but they wanted to keep the Lana Lang story around for a little longer. It was just like and then it was just a weird use of characters I think at that point like granted I couldn't imagine watching 10 years of this show and then doing it right. I watched it within like a month or so
Yeah,
but like I think it was through the point probably like in episode season six or whatever, like you're just like Lex Luthor still doesn't know his secret after building it for six seasons. Like
yeah.
how many times can you do this trope?
It's kind
Until
of like
like
the Homelander thing, and it's like,
right,
okay, how many seasons are we going to go on with like we're still
right.
fighting Homelander? Yeah.
And I think it was at this end of season seven where like he finally literally the finale, he finds out Clark's secret for real and then dies that same episode. Like it's just like I know that's probably a spoiler for you. I apologize. And people, it's, came out in
Right.
2010, but like, it's so funny where it's like he always kind of knew, but never fully like knew until they
Yeah.
one episode and then they died. And it was just like, okay.
Maybe that was
So,
what was keeping him alive the whole time is the not knowledge, and then he finally learned the identity of instant death,
yeah,
and then
they did Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling, Superman and Lex Luthor, they do a
yeah,
podcast called Talkville, and they basically watch an episode on each episode of the pod and talk about it. I haven't gone back to that episode of like I would wonder how Rosenbaum thought about it, just being like, really? Like after all this time, that's how it ends? Because like and he's like I've watched a couple episodes since I've watched these of like they're going through season 8, I think right now. And they're like, he's like, Michael Rosenbaum's like, I'm not in this. Why am I watching this? But like, it's a fun watch for anyone interested. They also do a cruise, supposedly Cruiseville, where the
Ooh,
cast goes on a cruise, and you as a fan can buy the cruise or whatever and join them on a cruise.
interesting.
Interesting. Anyways, other things that are interesting is the plot points that are going into this episode and beyond for House of the Dragon season 3. Um,
We haven't talked about episodes 2 and 3
yes, so we'll talk about them kind of as well.
outwardly.
Yes,
We've talked to each other about it.
right. I think nothing tech things have changed for sure, right? But I think a lot of plot points are still leading to like the next two battles, right? Kind of thing
Hmm.
where Tumbleton is the next big one where how is that going to unfold, right? Everyone is kind of based in either um Harrenhal, Tumbleton, or King's Landing, right? There's some Vale stuff that we can talk about a little bit, which,
Hmm.
Damon causing some chaos and not chaos, but like made a decision that was wildly different than years past.
Very Damon decision.
Right, just cuss on the whatever on the cups and just doing something random that he thinks is the best decision. And I'm excited to see how that ends out. But um, I think overall, let's talk about this. Rhaenyra at the start of season 3 is excited. She sends Jake out, or she doesn't. Sorry, she doesn't send Jace out, and is dealing with the loss of that. And in 2 episodes, she is now in King's Landing, the queen in her chair, and is having to deal with the political stuff of being queen. Overall, you could see her kind of not get crazy, but like be under more duress and stress than even when she was in Dragonstone having to lead this stuff. Talk about what do you think of just Rhaenyra's arc so far and having to be queen and just like how they've been playing it. I think they've done it really well. And of course, Emma Darcy is in their bag right now, which is insane.
Yeah. I think I mean, people have talked it to death, but the perspective you see, a lot of people compared it to like the POV chapters in the books, which is pretty cool as someone who has read one of the books
Mm.
to kind of understand that thought process. And just the thought of like, would have been cool if this was a something we kind of got with Daenerys season
Mm,
8, season 9, season 10, but
right.
we didn't get that. But yeah, it was really interesting. Obviously, like you see the weight that ruling has on somebody, and it's something where you kind of you've thought your whole life this is what you're for. Well, now you finally caught up to the truck, and it's time to see like what are you going to do with it. And so, just the issues brought about not just by the High Towers and how they left King's Landing, but we see in the episode like a lot of things that are wrong are partially her fault. The blockade, cutting off food, even though she still gave some food, is still very impactful and very something that's very much like on her, like
Yeah,
a mistake that she, not a mistake, but like a result of a choice that she made.
right.
And so, we've seen this before with new rulers. We've seen it with Joffrey. We've seen it with Aegon whenever he first took the throne. Aegon, son of Viserys, not any of the other million Aegons. But
Two, three, four,
yeah,
five.
it's just really interesting. What did you think about just the perspective of that episode?
Yeah. You mean season episode 3, like last one?
Episode 3, yeah.
Yeah. I think, we've talked about it forever. Of like Game of Thrones is the show that shows like any small action still has major consequence. It's the show of like, right, where Robb Stark in the original show, he doesn't want to marry one girl, has some inflictions of I don't want to, I've made a pact, I'm gonna maybe turn that down, and boom, you cause the end of a whole Stark reign of then, right? So you see the stuff like this where, okay, I'm not going to legitimize, right, the two sons. I'm going to do the knighting of these three guys, very chill, nonchalant, and not big of a deal. Like the ships, Corlys, um, the peasants, right, or the small folk. Like it's all these decisions are being made of just like it's in the moment she has so much to do. And I love the line that people are talking about like using it as like I'm away from keyboard email for work of like I have so much to do and like I'll get back to you when I can type of thing. Which is true. And it's so interesting. I think that episode was so good because it is the most like I think Game of Thronesy episode I think they've done in a while of just like it's all about the small things that a queen does and that
Hmm.
could cost her in the end, right? It's the
Yep.
stuff where like trying to be the enemy of the faith. And as we know in Game of Thrones, you don't really want to go against those people. And
Unless
like
you just blow up the Sept of Baylor and then it
you
was
all
really crazy, but then you think about it a little more and you're like, there's probably some long-term repercussions that we skipped over there. But
absolutely, right? And so it's just like she's trying to maneuver right after the death of her son. Like we're talking not even a
Mhm.
week, and we're like she's trying to deal with all this. It's insane. And I think she's doing or they're doing great. And I'm so intrigued how it's gonna go because like there's you can just tell they're setting up stuff. And it's just
Mhm.
like I think them treating the dragon seeds interest like differently. How are they going to act, right?
Yep.
Because Ulf, even though he's gotten the dragon and is made a knight because of this queen, how much does he care? I think this is the interesting part about the Team Black is that you have three dragon riders, which is crucial for your side but only two of them come from, the military. One of them comes from the military side and with Corliss and knows a little bit about like the ins and outs of, hey, political stuff. The other two come from the small folk and only want, their whole lives is all about taking what as much as you can for yourself to live, right? And they finally get pretty much everything they wanted. And it's like, my queen can't do this. My queen can't do this. How is that going to affect them? Because they don't have
Mhm.
that. Even the thing about like Ulf of like this episode of like, hey, my buddy wants this or my buddy wants that. Can you do this? And she's like, no. Like
Yeah.
even if that, like, why are you going outside? Like you have to stay in. Your life is important, right? It's not
Hmm.
just you. It's to me. And like if it's another night in that place, every night in that Red Keep understands that. But because he
Hmm.
doesn't know that, he doesn't. And so like you're dealing with outside factors that like in normal Game of Thrones, right? Every house knows the political side. Like even the daughters or sons of these political figures in this realm know, hey, I can't ask that, or hey, I need to be smart about that. You have two dragon seeds that don't care. Like they don't, it's not even they don't care, they just don't know. And that's
They're
kind of
not, yeah, they're not
yeah,
from that. They're not motivated by the
right.
same things as a typical knight. Yeah.
So,
It's really interesting with the I've been kind of thinking about it's like you're signing a bunch of you really hit on some like undrafted free agents, right? You had some guys that like, okay, cool, we got Ulf on the 10-day contract. We ended up having, Hugh on a two-way, and you're thinking about, okay, like what's it gonna take to get this guy to stick around? Well, at the same time, you have all these things happen, and it's like, okay, well, you're bringing in mercenaries at this point. It's not like you've got these guys to long extended contracts. It's not like you've developed them yourself. Like these are people that, you got out of necessity. And obviously there's some honor there among them. It's not like they're completely honorless. Obviously there's a lot of it with the Holes, the two from Hull.
mm,
But at the same time, you're dealing with people who have their own like ambitions. I think about it all the time when it comes to it's like, oh, it'd be really interesting to have like these dragon riders as part of the King's Guard. And it's like, well, or the Queen's Guard. But at the same time, it's like, well, Hugh's got his wife. And it's like that's not something that he's gonna just give up, obviously, especially after, the events going on in this most recent episode. And so you're kind of dealing with a lot of things where it'll be like you said, they're setting up a lot of stuff, and I think that the dragon seeds will be really interesting. I think Alan was my favorite one this episode because I think
mhm.
he got a lot of fun stuff with Rhaenyra, and I think that I don't know. I think Alan is. on the precipice of having like a really big episode. I
Yeah.
think the most we kind of got from him was like the finale last season, where he really confronted Corliss, and it was really like emotional and stuff. But like you can just tell that that character has a lot more to like give,
Yeah.
and we haven't got it yet. But I would assume they recognize like what they have, and it's part of the story. But
I think they definitely will be legitimized down the road. But like even let's talk about that the whole that the Valerians, right? Because I think the concept of what Corliss did last episode, I mean, that's like that what he says, he has more impact because of he's the hand, but at the same time, the stuff that he said could make him end up like his brother. You know what I mean? And
mhm,
he has the maybe just the like, hey, I don't have anything left, I don't care, right? Attitude, but at the same time of like he also feels like, hey, I deserve to say this too, which somewhat he does, absolutely. Because like he said, I not given you enough, which is
mhm,
insanely true. But like at the same time, Rhaenyra as a queen, she can go one or two ways about it, which I think is a great way of like, hey, like I understand I even want to do this, but like I can't right now. But at the
yeah,
same time, she could have also just been like, I'm the queen, you've put me in this position. Listen, it doesn't matter what you think, right? And so she's having to balance that a lot these episodes, but also just like the Corliss family itself is like Corliss is going to be such an interesting character. It's kind of like I did everything for you. I realized, ooh, yeah, I'm good, but like I didn't get everything I wanted out of this. Like,
mhm,
and now he kind of does this thing of like, hey, go do your thing. I think he could be a great master of ships one day, Alan. You know, maybe that's his thing. But like, screw this, I'm gone. Like, I didn't get my way. I don't want to be around here. I'm gone. And that's so interesting because what does Adam and Alan do in his stead?
yeah,
So I think it is such a I think that scene of calling her sons bastards, just like his brother did,
mhm,
and still being alive, one, and being like, hey, like, and saying it so loudly where everyone in that crowd can hear it, and also putting that little like, the Queen of Bastards thing we saw today in this
mhm.
episode. Does that come from like one of the people in the Red Keep tells his buddy in this small town, and like,
Yeah.
does
Is it
that
about
get
the dragon seeds? Is it about
yeah, it's stuff like that where, word of mouth goes crazy in this town. And when you have your hand saying your sons are bastards in front of people, that stuff like that matters. And so it's such a crazy like butterfly effect type of thing where it's gonna be so interesting to watch because yeah, like he said, Corliss has nothing besides just being hand. Like that's
mhm,
basically the last thing he owns besides his, the few ships he has left and the two sons and a somewhat cousin daughter, whatever the title, I forget that family tree type of thing.
I think
But like
it's probably his granddaughters at this
granddaughter.
point. Yeah.
Yes. So it's just like he doesn't have
Two, probably
much.
it's only two, right? It's
Right.
it's just Bela and Reyna.
Yes. But it's insane how that story is going to go. Is he going to come back? Is he going to be okay? Yeah, I understand. I'm still by you. Just a lot that story is going to go, and I think Alan and Adam are going to rise as the season goes on and be much more trustworthy because I think they do respect Rhaenyra, and I think they want to be on this side. I don't know
Yeah.
if I could say the same thing about Hugh and Ulf. Ulf definitely.
Hmm.
Ulf just wants to have a good time and has a dragon to be a part of it. Hugh, I thought it was very interesting seeing Hugh land at the end of that episode. I think
Hmm.
like I was talking to my dad afterwards of like he's like, well, he doesn't have to patrol the skies, right? He was just supposed to monitor the situation, which you can do from the ground, absolutely.
Hmm.
But it also kind of sounded a thing of like he landed and was like, I'm gonna go to the front door and ask, right? It's that type of attitude, which he? And does he turn? Like it's gonna be so interesting to see how Ulf and Hugh mainly go about things.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I guess we should move that's kind of the thought process about that whole family.
Let's talk a little bit about the high towers. I'll start off
Yeah.
because we haven't really talked about them a ton lately. This specific pocket, and this won't take too long before we get onto the main one.
Yeah.
Gawain and Kristen Cole pulling up to Harrenhal, and Alice Rivers is just they didn't
The
give her
goaded.
Harrenhal, but she's decided that
It's
she's
mine.
taking it. Where is Aemond?
How do you hide a dragon?
Gawain,
How do you hide a
I,
dragon? How do you like
that's a great
is he
question.
just is he in the basement? Like
So
is
he's
he
just in the basement. You open a hatch, and there's just big old Vagar.
like there was one time where he well you remember last episode or season episode 3 where he just sticks his head in and goes like
Hmm.
this and that's like that's the entire wall is his head. Like where's the dragon? But yeah,
It's
Aemon's
that's
locked in
just
a
fascinating.
yeah, Aemon's locked in a tower somewhere with Alice Rivers just meeting him. That's gonna be
He's in the Princess Fiona
yes.
tower, waiting
Repu
for
yes.
being guarded by Vagar, who's the dragon of this story.
Uh
No, I just think it's interesting. First off, I just want to get it out again. I'd like to do it every time until he's dead. Kristen Cole, you idiot, you dumb, stupid person. I cannot believe he's been getting away with this long. I I still can't believe he's technically the hand of the king for Aemond slash Aegon,
no.
who's dead, which their story is a whole other thing, which is pretty fascinating. But like I said, can't wait for if he's done next episode, that'd be awesome. If he's done the one after that, that'd be awesome. Let's just get him out of the way. He's really soiling the good name of Gawain Hightower, who seems to be doing his best. Um, he's got maybe the best armor of the entire cast. I think Gawain Hightower, the fits are incredible. Now we'll talk
Absolutely.
about another Hightower with some good fits
True.
in a second, but just that situation. What do you think? Like, what do you think is that dynamic? Like, how does one just bow to the other in terms of like, yeah, Kristen, I guess we'll try to join up with
Yeah.
Ormond or something. I don't know.
I think I think Gwaine is the most logical person in this entire show. That's my
Yeah.
first opinion. Where like he just
Hmm.
sees it how it is like Aemon's gone. We're screwed. Let's go home. Like I don't want to do this
Hmm.
anymore. And or even just like seeing things around him, he's like, "Hey, I thought we were doing this the right way. Like I thought we had this
Yeah.
way." And just seeing it crumble, he's like, "Dude, like this is not we're not gonna win. Like it's just like what are we doing? What are we gonna do? Like what are like." And he's just being the most logically guy, just seeing around him and being like this. And then on the flip side, right, you have Kristen, which going back to like question to you, is it type of thing where his attitude is like, I'm gonna die? Like he knows, and it's the type of thing of like, I'm gonna go down with honor, or is it the type of thing where I just want to survive? Like is like the whole thing of like but he's so scared of dragons, right? From that battle of Rook's Rest. Is it the type of thing where like, right, when he's like, we're gonna do basically like guerrilla warfare and that will get us away from Dragonfire? Is it because
Yeah.
is it that's the best chance for him to stay alive? Or is it the type of thing of like, I'm all about my honor, I will fulfill my duty. I'm just gonna try to do it as much as possible before, without dying. Like what do you think is his mindset right now? Because in that chapel, I think bef before Rook's Rest, he'd be like, no, we're waiting for Aemond. Whatever Aemond says, we'll follow. After Rook's Rest, it's a lot of like, dude, I am a small piece of a giant dragon war that
Yeah.
I can be crushed between one's foot, one toe, right? And so I think it's a lot of just like nothing matters type of attitude for him.
Hmm.
And I think
Very melancholy, very,
and maybe that's the type of thing where he's going to war, just like, maybe this is it. And I'm just trying to go out with a bang and be like, when people think of me, I go, hey, he was a good leader. He fought hard and like he made his house proud. Like, what do you think? What is
yeah.
that? What is that character, do you think?
I think, well, we talk about the honorable mindset. That's just, we're well past that with him. There's a bunch of things that slip through his honor code
Sure.
throughout the whole show.
It might
I
be,
think his,
it might be more just like he thinks like that. It's definitely not.
no,
He
right,
had, right. Yeah.
right. But I think his big issue and I think what my perspective on his motivations with all this is, I think obviously he's got a very antagonistic relationship with Rhaenyra, even though they haven't seen each other for who knows how long, like, right?
Years.
So Um, but at the same time, I think that he's just being as prideful as he can. Like, if he's going down, he's going to go down like swinging. He's going to take what he can, and he's not going to. Uh, he does not want to give Rhaenyra the absolution of being the one to take off his head or something like that, or do away with him, or put him to the punishment. He's probably thinking, I'm gonna do what I can. Maybe we can get out of this. But at the same time, like, I want to make it hurt as much for them as possible before you know, it's unrealistic. And it was really interesting listening to the like tactic that he brought up because it actually was very familiar in this world. Uh, because I'm pretty sure Robb Stark did
I
this
was thinking that,
to
yeah.
the Lannisters in his first big win where they captured Jaime and everything. Because I don't know if it's the
Yeah.
same thing, but I think what they did is like they separated, but at the same time, like when they went after Jamie's group, it was like they send a couple, pretend they're raiding, and then so they'd finally, Jamie would go out with a smaller group to try to hunt down the raiders, and then all of a sudden, boom, we got
Yeah.
Jamie Lannister. So I would be shocked if it went as well for Kristen Cole as it did for Robb Stark.
Yeah. I
But
I agree. I think they both want to help win the war. I don't think they both want to die.
yeah,
Kind of flipping on my thing. I do think it's kind of like a, hey, I want to, like, I think he got kind of was like, dang, right? Aemon's not here. What do I do now? And then kind of was like, hey, let's head to Old Town, whatever, Tumbleton, and like, let's just try to win the war. And Gwen's like, hey, let's get over there. Let's defend this place, and maybe that's gonna be our stand. And he's like,
yeah.
no, let's try to kill him on the way. And
It's like
he,
no stand. It's like we're gonna do something. We're not just
I,
gonna try to survive. We're gonna try to.
and I think he knows, like, like he said, like they outdo us by 20 times their army, but like we'll hurt them along the way. And maybe he kind of sees like that honorable, like, I'm gonna go down and try to fight, and I won't be just, crushed under a dragon, right? And
Hmm.
maybe that because after Rook's Rest, he kind of sees it as like, at least I go down fighting, and the
Yep.
histories will look kind upon me, right? And
I'll be
so,
killed by a man and not a beast. Yeah.
right. So I think that's history. Moving on to, I'm gonna do a small thing quickly before we move on to the main Hightower section. The Alicent and Helena and kind of Rhaenyra story. I think that's very interesting. I think the last episode of like the Emma Darcy going like this, right? And not seeing Darren, I think that was great.
Yeah.
I'm, I think for people inside the books, supposedly right now, Allison is like nothing in the books because she did
Hmm.
her whole thing and now she's kidnapped and no one really knows what she does, right? Because of course it's a history book. We've talked about that forever. Like they're not going to think about Allison Hightower as the queen,
Yep.
whatever mother right now. But like I think that little storyline is going to be interesting. Helena now being pregnant. Oh my, like it's that's such a sweet, nice character. She does nothing wrong, but has the one thing that could turn into a huge thing, you
And
know?
how did that happen?
I mean, it's
Well, I know
technically
how it happened, but who did that happen?
I mean, in terms of
Has it been
weeks,
enough time for
I think it would finally,
Aegon?
I think so. I think it'd finally start to show now. I think in terms of weeks and stuff. So I think we're okay
Okay.
timeline wise.
Yeah.
But
I was getting worried. I
I,
think
I think Alice,
I don't think it's there's two options in my head that like realistically it is. One of them is probably the normal thing. The other one is the completely out there but fits with the her character with Helena. What if it's just I don't know, it's just there. It's not it's like immaculate. I don't
well,
know how that happens.
we know she's a dreamer, so maybe she dreamed it. Yeah,
She dreamed a baby and it's a dragon.
it's a dragon. Um, in the whatever the like when they talk to the camera after the scenes, behind the scenes part of the
Hmm.
episode, there's Alison Hightower or Emma or I forget her name, actress on the top of.
Olivia Cook.
Thank you. She was basically saying, yeah, there's two options, right? Whatever, moon tea or, you know. and have her to when the baby is born and kill it. And the thing about it is she tried to do it nice with the OG Darren, right?
Yeah.
And was gonna do it right. I don't think she'd make that. I think she that's the true heir. Like that's the
Yeah.
heir. And Helena's like only thing she grasped at right now is her daughter. Like that's it. Or son?
Yeah.
Son, I think.
It's her daughter. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I think if, oh my gosh, I just thought about this.
Yeah.
I remember after the Blood and Cheese episode of
Mm,
last season, a lot of people were talking about uh, how that goes down in the book is there's three kids.
mm,
It's two boys and then the daughter that survives. Actually, two of them survive,
yeah.
and it's the one I forget which one it is, but and then the one boy has to kind of live on knowing that like the choice was made for him to die, but then he didn't. What if he's still in the story, but just at a different
Mm,
point? I don't know what that introduces, what dynamic that is. I mean, obviously the thought process with you of the moon tea and the obviously it's an heir,
right.
especially being a boy. But at the same time, like, what does that introduce? Like,
Yeah.
what?
I mean, that's in direct competition to Joffrey as an heir, technically.
Hmm.
Like, and it's just that's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna make next episode probably Allison be more conniving and scheming than in these past
Hmm.
two, where she's more just a prisoner. I think she, the whole thing is like, I just want to get Helena out of here. And she couldn't. And she's more just like, it is what it is now. But now with this, where she knows Helena might die from this in some aspect, or she's gonna be not be able to be okay after this,
Yeah,
she might be doing some scheming to be get away from this. So
to
very
get her
interesting.
out somehow. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, let's move on to the high towers, which were the staple of this episode, Ormond, and we now officially know that is Damon or Darren Targaryen.
There
Darren,
he is. Found him. Got the right one this time.
there he is.
Three guesses or two guesses, two wrong guesses,
I think
and we
I
finally got to him.
I think you're pretty excited to talk about these guys. I'll let you go. The high towers
I
thoughts.
think I think Orman Hightower is like a bit of it's definitely not to the same heightened level of it as either of these guys. Ormond is like a more reserved version of the Joker, and also as I don't know why.
Is he
I'm
more of a two-face?
no. Well, no, oh, that is interesting. But then I was going to compare it to another Thrones character,
Okay.
and I do this sometimes, right? It's someone very obvious that I do know the name of, and I forget it. Who is the other guy in the Battle of the Bastards?
Oh. We should know this. We have a
Nice. We're
pod.
gonna look really good.
Jo- um,
Ramsey. It's Ramsey Bolton. Got it.
Ramsey Bolton. We'll
Back
cut.
to the start.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
cut that.
Orman Hightower, a bit of Ramsey Bolton, bit of the Joker. There's a offhandedness to him of the things that he does, but there's a confidence too where it's just like, no, I'm doing things right, and this is what I'm doing, and oh yeah, like look at me, look at everything that I'm doing, and this is the right way to go, Darren. Ign- Let me pause for a moment so I can hit the table with my sword. When
And
that happened,
not
I could have stood up and cheered.
yeah, not only that, like Darren knew, like Darren told the
Hmm.
Cupper boy, like, this is what happens.
Yeah,
Get out of here. Like get out of here. Like, oh man, he is such an interesting character. Such an
just
interesting.
fun to watch. It's one of those actors that like as soon as you see him in the like I haven't seen a whole lot with this actor, but
Mhm.
as soon as he showed up in the last episode, obviously we were introduced to him earlier, but I think the last episode at the beginning, his interaction with Damon was one of those where you're like, okay, this guy's got something going on. Like everything he said to Damon was so just like, oh, of course we'll bend the knee. Of yeah, I got you. Me, Orman Hightower, I got you. Rhaenyra, she's the one. Awesome. Here's Darren, by the way. You asked for him. Here he is. Beautiful blonde Darren. Dra Ignore the dragon. Ignore the dragon that's looking at him like, who is that? Um, yeah, I think their dynamic's really interesting. I wonder what you think because we heard a lot about Darren last season from Gawain. And do you think that he lived up to the like depiction that was told to Allison?
I think you could see like the whole what we got right really was he's kind. That was kind of the main thing. And you could see it in here where even the point before he has to do the thing at the end, he's like, why? Like that's not what we're supposed like he's just this kid that got raised. I was saying like it's kind of like a though I forget about this. If you think about it, right? In the Game of Thrones show, the
Hmm.
Reach is owned by Highgarden and the Tyrells. So
Hmm.
these people are not the leaders of their whole area anymore, right? And Old Town becomes right, isn't it where all the Macers grow up and all of that by
Yep.
that time? So like but like basically, right? Like I would say kind of like the Hightowners are kind of this like religious kind of not cult, right? But like kind of that vibe at the end of this
Hmm.
episode of like we're all about the faith and being what's right. And sometimes some people do what's wrong and you have to like it was very like watching that kind of happen and Darren being this nice kid and being like, my family's nice. We have some
Yeah.
mean streaks, but like I'm nice. And seeing him kind of like this is like the initiation into like having this belief, right? Where even Otto and Allison are all beliefs of like the Hightowers are more because we're connected to the faith and like we're better than, it's so interesting where yes, the Hightowers seemed like they were good people from away, but when you get down to it and you have a guy led like Ormond leading you and being your mentor, how does that affect you? And this is the finally, I
Yeah.
think, the tipping point where even if Darren in that moment thought it was crazy, there was no way he was not listening to Orman in that moment because he trusts him
Hmm.
fully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how does that go?
Yeah. It's interesting because it's like his name is he's a Darren Targaryen, right? And so it's an interesting process of I mean this episode's for sure the beginning of the end of Darren Targaryen becoming Darren Hightower, not in name obviously, but just
I'm
in being and all that. And when I tell you when Ormond started talking about yeah, forget about your brothers. You're better than them for all these reasons, except for this thing, except for this blue monster. You can throw that away because this is how we're gonna do it. And you're the king. You're honestly the heir now. And I could have stood up and cheered. I laughed so hard, not in like a making fun of the show in it, but it was just funny because it's like, yeah, of course there's a character like this that would just be like, these Targaryens are freaks. They're weird. Like even your siblings they're making your siblings do all this weird stuff, but you're here with us. You don't look like them. You don't act like them. The only thing that you have tied to them is your dragon, you know?
mm-hmm.
So if you can find a way, any way to be not like that, shoot, you're the king. Like
Yeah.
we need you to be the king. Come on. And it's just funny because you see a lot of Otto there, where Otto's scheming and manipulating his Allison to be like setting up to take that throne and take
Right.
that power for herself and that their family's sake. And so now you've got yet another high tower leading a royal to that path. So it's really interesting. Uh, I was I was really interested. What did you read into the like stab through the heart thing? Because I was expecting
Mm.
a decapitation, right?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts about that?
I I didn't really read much into it. I think it was maybe just an easier thing to do, right? Just kind of point and keep pointing, right? Maybe that's kind of
Hmm.
how it was. Um, I think this is a guy who wasn't built for battle, and that's why maybe that his first thought was just hey, it's a pointy thing, just stick him with it.
Hmm.
Um, being real, no, but like I could see how it couldn't be something, right? It's the whole thing where Rhaenyra takes two stabs to get it through the neck on Otto,
Yeah.
right? It's the same thing. Sidetrack a little bit, like you're going to Ormond for a second. I think House of R was talking about it. I was listening to them the other day. They were talking about basically like Ormond is smart. And it's there's not many of these kings that are smart. Like Aemon is
Yeah.
somewhat wise, but deals with his own things. Ormond is also just like Otto, where he's just smart and conniving. And
Hmm.
he read Damon in that last episode like a book. Oh, here you go. Oh, you wanted Darren. Okay, yeah, okay, we already
Yeah.
had that prepared, right? And it's a terrible boom fight. They were talking about basically, which is a great point of like how um like he didn't even do a dragon rider check with the dragon, right? Stuff like that, where are you not gonna also just take the dragon, right?
Yeah.
Like, so stuff like that is dumb by Damon, but he probably thought it was too easy, right? Maybe.
Also, Caraxes probably could have killed the dragon immediately.
Right, absolutely. It's intriguing. It's so so intriguing. But like this guy is smart. He's smart. Like the Hightowers are smart, conniving people, and this was just another one of them that's led through the old town ranks of just like, I know what I'm doing, and I'm gonna make this boy appear that he is king because also he is kind of desperate, right? No dragons are coming to help him. His 15,000 is a good amount of men, but it's not gonna win you a
Hmm.
battle. So, and like if they go, zero, DEFCON 1 and just burn this to the ground, I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
so if he has this son, this Darren kid that can be proud and maybe believe he can be king and something like that, at least he can believe in that and go from there.
Yeah. It's one of looking back on like what you said about, how much this sets up. I mean, something's coming, uh, you know, and it's one of those things where it's very apparent, and Rhaenyra clocks this. What is she gonna do? Burn the place down? A place that bent the knee to her and supports her and doesn't really have anybody that's really a threat just because it's got a host of a few high towers. Like that's not a good look. But at the same time, it seems like through no fault of her own, maybe from the decisions of some dragon seeds that maybe get a little too invested in their personal things or
Yeah.
maybe are a little too loose with what they're doing. There might be a lot of casualties that are caught in the crossfire that really swing the tide of it. And it's like, okay, maybe there is something where Darren and his dragon do something to, kind of galvanize people, and all of a sudden you start hearing about people across the world are just kind of starting to hear, oh, this Darren rose up with his blue dragon and stood up to the mighty, you know, Ulf's dragon and all that. So it's like that there is a play to the people here in the cards that it's one of those hands that you can't play the hand. You have to let someone overplay, right?
Right.
And that'll be interesting going forward for sure.
Absolutely. I think it's gonna be interesting. I think their House of R made a good point. They were talking about how in the conversation that Damon has with Ormond, he mentions the Ulf. Oh yeah, what do you want, Harrenhal? Right? Wouldn't you want a castle?
Just offhandedly making fun of them.
Right. But also Ormond definitely hears that and goes, okay, so that's oh, you're just joking with him about a knight maybe wanting a
Hmm.
castle. Okay,
I'll
what
give
if
it to them.
stuff like that, you never know. Like, I think those
Hmm.
are it's an interesting thing. One last talk about this, and when we can kind of wrap up on everything, because I think and talk about kind of next episodes and beyond.
Yep.
The smells for Ormond, the
It's
whole
freaky.
it's weird.
It's one of those things that you do with a character where it's, like the Bond villain thing where you give them a cat or something. So just
Two-Face
some
gets his
quirk.
coin. Yeah.
Yeah. Just some quirk that just makes them stand out and you think about like that guy's cracking smelling salts or herbs and stuff.
I just don't know how like I was talking to my parents. I was like, is it gonna be the type of thing where like Renera drops like just like smelling things into the like from Dragon, drops them into the front door, and he just gets so like what's gonna come from that? Because there's gonna be something that makes him go crazy from it. And I'm just
Hmm.
I'm just thrilled to see what happens with that because you don't keep mentioning it until it's like something that oh, it's gonna get crazy. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, all right.
I
Overall
think
thought. Yeah,
I think one the final thing from this episode that I want to talk about, just the
yeah.
last thing,
Go for it.
is the Damon plot with
Yes.
Raina,
Oh yeah,
and
duh.
probably don't
Mhm.
need to give a ton to this because it's not a whole lot going on. Damon pretty much does his job, gets the gold, figures out the sheep stealer thing, and it seemed like this was like his actual first real attempt at being a father. And I was really interested by this, and I kind of wish we saw more of it because you kind of see, I kind of felt the same way that he did with his wife who ended up dying. Um, like you could tell he really cared about her and that family, right? And so this situation, it's like this still is his daughter, and to learn this, it's really something to deal with. And obviously, Damon makes a very interesting choice that clearly Rhaenyra sees through. At the very least, seeing like, okay, you
Right.
didn't what you didn't make sense. But like, what did you think about just that overall like short little sequence, and
Yeah.
then kind of the aftermath with Rhaenyra?
Yeah, I think a lot of people talk about Daemon as kind of like a Targaryen purists, like all about the Targaryens, episode 3 is all about like screw the common folk. We're gods, right? Like
Yeah.
that's how he sees the Targaryen name. And so when having to be in a marriage with the Valerians, I think he still like was okay with it because they're half Targaryen or whatever, right? From old Valyria. But it's not the same. And
Hmm.
it seems like he really has not cared about these girls at all.
Yeah.
And like you said, when his wife dies by Vagar and kind of kill herself via Vagar, and he was sad about that. It's kind of maybe the thing of like you don't know how you feel until it's gone type of thing. And he kind
Yeah.
of see it in this case of like he finally hits that point of like, I didn't really have to, I never worried about you because I didn't want to, but like you're at such a low where like oh my, like now the parental thing come out of like, what have you done?
Yeah.
Right? It's like it's such a low where he finally cares.
Yeah. And then
And
being protective of her at the same time,
which
where
which by the way, that means in couple episodes now, yes, Damon does the great thing, gets Harrenhal, unites the people, all that. Alice Rivers definitely helps with that. But like he does that. He has the big win. He finds the thing of like, Rhaenyra, you're my queen. And then in the past episode, he gets fooled by Ormond and makes a huge dumb mistake. And in this thing, he makes a decision where on the back of someone who you didn't care about really. And this is your queen. This is not treason, but like as close as you get within husband and wife of like lying to your wife plus queen, like it's a wild decision because you could even do the type of thing with him and go, I have to tell the queen, leave. And even that's better. But the fact that you just don't even say anything at all and just try to hide the fact is a protective of the family that you've never cared about is such a
Mhm.
interesting plot point, but also like another mistake that might cost like I'm not saying it's gonna cost them because it's Damon and Damon's always gonna be there. But
But
like,
it'll cost his trust, which I mean,
yeah,
this whole show has been Damon gaining and losing trust with people the whole time. Like
yeah,
Viserys, it took the whole season for him to actually be like, okay, like Damon cares about me.
right.
Which at the end of the day, did he? Like, yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And
interesting.
Melisandre is going to be all over that. If she finds out who it is and like through her whispers and then tells the queen, she will love that being the true ear to the queen and not Damon. And
And
that
with
can
their
go south.
previous relationship and being able to just cut underneath, and yeah, it'll be
She she'll love that. I think
it'll be
those are all the
interesting.
big plot points for this episode. Oh, Laris and Aegon. There's not much to talk about. Aegon
Yeah,
is just going from literally the started from the top and now that we're here type of thing.
yep.
Which is a very thing. Sunfire, the whole thing of he's alive. That dragon won. That dragon should not be alive. However, that dragon will be alive. I don't know how, because that dragon should not be. But you don't say in High Valerian, he's alive without him being alive. You know what I mean? What are your
See,
thoughts? What
I
are your
don't.
quick thoughts on that?
I just don't. I think he's delusional. I don't. I think it's interesting. I think the most interesting thing from that sequence to me was the idea of that Laris said, where it was like, "Look, you're dead. So what? That just makes your return even more miraculous. That makes your return the thing that you read about in the books and hear it in stories." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that is pretty interesting. I think that's really cool." Well, because it's kind of the same thing as, I mean, that was the goal of um, Targaryen. Golly,
Daenerys,
there's
same
so
sense?
many names, man. Daenerys' brother, Viserys. I knew it
Oh,
was the same thing. Yeah,
yeah,
Viserys, Daenerys' brother. That was kind of his goal was okay. He's exiled for a while, rally the troops, and then ascend. Obviously, it's a little different because Aegon's thought to be dead.
right.
I think a lot of people figured that Viserys was out there, but yeah, it's interesting. It's nice seeing a guy like that kind of humbled. It is kind of disappointing because I feel like the actor who plays Aegon, I feel like there's a lot more we can get with him,
Right.
and maybe we already got enough whenever he was king. But I don't know. I feel like they're holding back a little bit. I wonder if this will ever crescendo this season at all, or if it'll kind of just be like planting seeds to have in the back of your mind for whenever we close it out next year or
Yeah,
next season. It's definitely not next year.
I definitely agree with you. There was like, we'll wrap it up here and then we'll move on to like future kind of things quickly.
Hmm.
It's like you made a good point of like there's much more there. Even when he was like being the kingly, like you do this for because what I say, right? And to that guy in this episode of like you saw like his acting come out of like, oh, he still
Hmm.
has that thing of, but he has to be this way.
Yep.
I agree. I think one thing I don't really know much, like, but I think George R. R. Martin loves of like putting people at the very top and then putting them at the very bottom and then rising
Hmm.
back, like Jamie Lannister, right? That whole thing, the arc of like going down, and maybe coming back to being a better human, maybe that could be what he's doing with Aegon and kind of the
Yeah.
same. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how many future things, but I just see I don't think this is a character that dies in season three. I think he lasts till the end, that type of thing. So, um, overall thoughts, you have definitely something coming on. The big thing will be happening next episode or the episode afterwards at Tumbleton. That's going to be a big thing. King's Landing, The Vale, Harrenhal. What are your kind of future thoughts on just what's going to happen next? Any quick thoughts going to the future?
Yeah, I think the big thing I have circled, and you kind of brought it out a lot, was the dragon seeds. Just the fate of Ulf and Hugh and what path do they end up going on? Because it's the seeds have been planted, no pun intended, of just they're just not part of this life. And so if they're not part of this life, like maybe they're looking to get out as fast as possible. How? Or what do you Hugh is obviously trying to save his wife, and now his wife's brother is dead, right?
Is
That's
yeah,
who that was.
brother-in-law or something
Yeah, his
like that?
brother, and yeah, his brother. But that was him at the end, right? That
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so there's a big loss there. It'll be really interesting. I think that we're in for a big loss for the Blacks. I think that Team Black is going to have a this is going to be a big PR issue coming up. It just feels like they've they've been winning and losing at the same time uh, for the last few episodes. I think this is going to be a pretty straight up loss.
Yeah, I think the win probability has kind of been, the line has gone in their favor recently,
Yeah.
especially
Hmm.
with the loss of Vagar. Dragon Math is not on the green side. I think,
Hmm.
like you said, I think that it goes back in the middle after this, and I think PR is a great way to use it. I think PR
Yeah.
just flips the other way, and I'm intrigued to see it. I think one of the writers switches, and how does that go? And that's gonna be the interesting part where and the out like how does Rhaenyra respond
Yeah.
from it?
Because if you
Because
switch
she's
if you
getting
switch
crazy.
Hugh, if you switch Hugh, they got the two biggest dragons
Yeah.
on
It's
Team Green. Like,
it's gonna be an interesting thing. I'm really, really, really excited for it. But yeah, in terms of everything else, Harrenhal, no one's really at Harrenhal right now. They're all marching away from Harrenhal.
hmm.
So not
But
just
there's obviously the whole basement scenario going on.
yes,
The
the
dragon in the basement.
they've let that's two episodes now. We have not seen Vagar and Aemond.
Amen. Yeah.
I think we get them a little bit next episode. Just Alice Rivers in like a room, just being like, "You're mine," right? Something like
Like a
that.
20-minute like freaky sequence of just like,
Yeah.
Amen, I'm just trying to scare you. I'm trying to scare you. Look at your dragon. He's in my basement. You're in the tower. What's going on?
Right. And I just see, I think Alice River finally sees like she tried to manipulate, Damon to her side and Damon didn't fall fully for it. This is the time I think Aemon's motherly issues and sees a woman
Uh-huh.
that's 300 years old. Like, I think that's a hook, line, and sinker for Alice Rivers to find hair claws to get into a royal. So,
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I'm excited about we built up. This is the build up episode for episode 5 and 6, and I
Hmm.
think they're going to be really good. Final
It
thoughts,
was really
comments,
interesting.
concerns.
It was really interesting. Like you bring up like the build up thing. I remember after the first episode, I was like, okay, I expect next episode to be like kind of a come back down and then we'll be back. No, that was the season two finale. Uh, we had three straight episodes. I guess last episode kind of fits into the like pulled back, vein of it. But I feel like just in terms of like impact and like feel, the first three episodes of this season were like up here, and then this one, obviously, very good episode. I think it was really good. We didn't give ratings. I'd say this is a solid 8.
I think 8. I think last episode was like a 9.5. Episode 3 was like a
Yeah,
9.5. Episode 2, I think, is a 9 something.
I
I
think
don't think.
episode 2 is a 9.7 for me. I really
Okay.
like that one. That's probably my favorite one of the season. And
Okay.
then it's episode 3. I would say is a 9. I think that was really good. It was everything that George R. R. Martin talked about when he's like, oh, people always talk about Lord of the Rings at the end of the books, but like I'm interested in Aragorn's tax policy. Well, you get to figure out Rhaenyra's tax policy and dealing with the missing gold and dealing with the rich elite people and feeding them rats and all that stuff.
The
So it
the yeah, the Manderley figure. What if we add a
oh
tax? That
he's
guy,
I
oh,
like that guy.
he's gonna be
He was in.
interesting.
Had you recognized him from something?
He's in Fantastic Beasts. That's what I know him
Yeah.
from.
When I
Yeah.
first saw him, I was like, "Why does that guy look familiar?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, he was just a random American guy in Fantastic Beasts." That's
Yep.
funny. But
So
to
I
close
think
it out,
yeah.
what do you got going on? What are you excited for outside of this week?
I haven't seen Supergirl, which you've said, hey, just go watch it, you'll enjoy it, which I think I will. So that's on the list. The Invite just came out, which people are raving about, which might be like a 10 o'clock. I might go just watch it one of these days.
Can I give you a recommendation?
Go for it.
So there's this little movie coming out. I remember when they started developing it, it was
Mm,
something about it's like a two police like helicopter pilots from Nolan, right? And it's really interesting. And then he called it the Odyssey. I don't know what's going on with all the marketing behind it. I don't know where the helicopters are. It
mm.
seems very, Greek Roman type thing, but
There's a
um,
horse,
there's a
Yeah,
horse. It doesn't seem like a real horse for some reason. Maybe the helicopters are in there. I don't
right.
know, but I'm waiting for Tom Holland and Matt Damon to be these helicopter cops that we've been waiting for. Maybe the helicopter is called the Odyssey. I'm not sure. I know there's a Honda Odyssey. Maybe it's something related there, but I'm probably gonna see that movie.
Yes.
It's a little Nolan, vanity project, it
Yeah.
seems. He loves his helicopters and his police officers as shown in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yes, he does. Yeah, I have whatever weeks back, months back, I bought 70 millimeter tickets. And so I got Wednesday, I think of next week, 10:45. However, I can still refund these for the people at home, be like, you're out of your mind. I still have my 19th, July 19th tickets at 2:30 a.m. of the Odyssey. That's I'm not gonna do it because I can refund it before the day before, which I can absolutely do. But imagine seeing the Odyssey at 2:30 in the morning and then getting out of the theater and seeing light.
And it's the morning sun.
Right. That kind of seems fun to me. I'm not gonna do it, but if you do get a Snapchat from me at 5 in the morning, you understand why.
What's
So
going on? And it'll probably be a religious experience, I would assume.
that's what
I
I,
have not watched, like, I've seen the trailer, a couple
yeah,
trailers for these. I've not watched the trailers for these.
right.
Like, when I go to the movie and I see the Odyssey trailer come up, I basically just look. I've been doing this with Dune,
I
this
haven't watched the
next
most
Dune
re
movie.
yeah.
I am just enamored on social media seeing the shots and being like, wow, this looks awesome. Greg Fraser, amazing cinematographer. This new person looks like they're also going to do a pretty good job. So, uh, I just like seeing everything. I like hearing the little song Timothy Chalamet sings, his little chant. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I I almost stood up and cheered in my office when I watched the first trailer where I hear him chanting, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's Timothy Chalamet chanting right there.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I have tried so hard not to like look into anything. The last thing that I saw about this was actually right before we started talking, and I was scrolling my Instagram, and Tom Holland was doing an interview with a guy named Tom Holland as well, and they were talking about the adaptation of this. I don't know what the deal is, but it seems like they've done something with the gods that is very it is a big choice. I don't know what that could be. I like no clue at all. Maybe they're not
Yeah.
speaking English, and maybe they're not. Maybe they're just super disfigured and deformed and just so out of what we could comprehend, or maybe they're all marble figures that are talking to us.
Right.
But apparently Nolan's got something weird cooked up with that. So I'm pretty excited about that.
My thing, yes. Quickly to Dune. I have my tickets already bought. I will be there no matter what. I haven't I'm not gonna watch the newest trailer. I don't need to see it. I've seen the shots like you have on social media of the blue and looking like the older movies and going,
Hmm.
it's the same thing with
Please.
it's the same thing with this movie. I saw Nolan directing the movie and act like the Odyssey. I said I will be there no matter what. Same
Yep.
with Denis. Like I don't care. Like and
Cool.
also if with this one, yeah, I've heard people are like, oh, he's done this, he's done that. I haven't
I
really
don't
seen
care.
it. I don't care. Like
First off, Odyssey, not real.
it's not.
None of this is real.
It's not. It's an adaptation for a reason, right? And so, um, I say that as a comic book fan. When they get things wrong, I get mad. But like, um, I think it's something where like it's Christopher Nolan. He has a reason for everything, and I will. I don't think there's anything in there that's going to make me go, you know what? I didn't like that. I'm going to
Hmm.
sit there and watch for 3 hours and go, God, man, Chris, you've done it again.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
so
I just I think I just think we're in a good spot with all this stuff. I like we've got
Spider-Man's coming
our
out soon too.
this
Uh,
generation, we've been waiting forever for this. This generation's gonna have their Lord of the Rings
yeah.
trilogy. Like this is what Dune is
I
at
mean,
this point.
we really like me and you became closer friends, I think, after Dune 2, where we were both kind of just like, I mean, we walked out of there and was like, oh my God. Like,
I liked the first one. The second one just blew my mind. Like that was like it's not like, oh, I've never seen this before, but it's pretty pretty damn close.
I
Like that
think
was there was a wonder sitting in the theater, and I've said this a million times, especially to you, but like when we get to the Fade Ralpha like Coliseum scene, I literally like I'm in the theater, and then as soon as it cuts to the planet, I see all the black and white, and it just like slowly panning onto the Coliseum. I go, I literally locked in the theater. And that was like maybe an hour into the movie, into the 3 hour movie. So there was a full 2 hour stretch where I'm just sitting there like,
Yep.
just amazing. I'm so excited for this. And honestly, I hope they keep accidentally making more because there's more Dune stuff, and I've heard it's weird. I don't know anything about it. I just want to see somebody become a big worm
Well
because that'd be
said.
funny. Um, and we should all become big worms at the end of the day.
We basically do. I think that, yeah, I don't think there's anything else. I mean, um, the last thing I think I'll say is what I'm excited about, and no one else is in the world, and that's okay. The last season of The Bear. I haven't gotten around to it, but I love that show so much. Some of those episodes literally made are ingrained in me. I just love some of the
Hmm.
messaging in some of those shows. And I know it's a show about cooking, and they've gone like crazy with it in certain aspects, and that are making me go, ah. I love this show so much, and I'm glad when it's ending. It needed to end. It needed to have a stopping point. So I'm glad about that. But I
You can only
think
hear Jeremy Allen White yelling hands for so long.
exactly, you can't. He is such a interesting character, but yeah, it needed to end. I'm glad it ended. But I will say this. In a world where shows take 2 to 3 years to make a new season, Bear made like Emmy award winning or Emmy television every single summer for like 5 summers straight. I just think that's very impressive. And yes,
Very good.
some of those seasons were like but like overall, the acting is phenomenal, and they did it for 5 seasons straight. I think that's hats off to them. But um, that's my next watch, and my next watch is Supergirl. My next watch is The Invite, and then we have the big one with The Odyssey, and then we're back to House of the Dragon, which I don't
Big
have.
movie week.
Oh
Big
yeah,
movie.
my events in the past now, I'm back to being a normal movie going watcher, and I'm very excited. And I'm excited for another episode of House of the Dragon, which we will be back at a regular scheduled time, hopefully next Sunday after a banger of an episode. That's it for me. Zach, you got anything last couple things? No? All right.
I'm good. I just wanted to say,
Yeah.
uh, I'm happier finishing the Bear. I haven't been able to. I've watched 2 seasons and a couple episodes of season 3, and that was probably where I stopped at. I don't know if I'll go back to it, but I
Yeah.
but I do give credit to everything you said because I just remember there being a 2 episode stretch in season 2 where it was obviously Cousin, his whole like solo episode that was just
Yes.
one of the best episodes of TV I've seen. And then I think it was immediately followed by this like Christmas Thanksgiving episode, like
Uh,
the iconic one where, you know,
they
all the
call it.
big powerhouse actors are going at each other. Just like it's one of those things where I complain a lot, especially when it comes to award season, about the stuff like the pit, where it seems like very one way when it comes about the concept. And I could say that about the bear, but I gave the bear a chance, and it is good. I like the bear a lot, and
Yes.
I haven't had any like interest in continuing it. But I will say the reason for it existing, very good. I enjoy it.
Yes.
And I'm excited for you to finish it and let us know what you think.
I
So.
will. I'm excited. Yeah, that's it from us. We'll be back. It is past midnight. What is it for you? Past 1 a.m. for you now?
No, it's midnight as well. I'm still in Central, thankfully.
Okay, good. That's it from us. I've been your host, Walker Law, alongside with me and Zach Flowers. We'll be back next Sunday. Same bad time, same bad channel. See ya.